Cognizant to the needs of our learners, parents, and teachers, the Department of Education provided us with powerful tools for productivity that will allow us to foster critical thinking skills, problem-solving skills, communication and collaboration skills to be compassionate, responsible global citizens. Join us and discover new ideas in our series of professional development training program with the ICTS Edtech Unit and Microsoft Education Philippines. Together, we will equip our learners and empower our fellow educators for a dynamic future. Para sa bata, para sa bayan, at para sa guro. Sulong Edukalidad.
Magandang araw, Sir Wilbur po, at your service. Narito ang ETUlay upang gabayan ka sa inyong pag-aaral upang lubos na maunawaan ang iba't ibang paksa o subject. Ang ETUlay ay isang free online tutorial class na pinangungunahan ng ICTS Educational Technology Unit sa pamumuno ni Undersecretary Elaine Del P. Pascua. Ang programang ito ay hindi lamang para sa mga bata, kundi ito rin ay magsisilbing gabay sa mga magulang at mga guro kung paano nila ituturo o gagabayan sa bawat asignatura ang kanilang mga anak o mga estudyante. Sa kasalukuyan, ang self-learning module mula sa rehiyon ng Calabarzon at kilala sa tawag na pivot ang ginagamit sa ating ETUlay online class. Kaya ano pang hinihintay ninyo? Ihanda na ang inyong mga ballpen o lapis, papel o kwaderno at samahan kaming itulay ang pagkatuto para sa bawat batang Pilipino. Sama-sama tayong magtutulungan para malampasan ang mga hamon sa panahong ito. Halina't matuto kasama ang inyong online tutor sa oras na ito.
An awesome and amazing afternoon, everyone. So, again, good afternoon. Welcome here sa ating ETUlay online tutorial. So, this afternoon, please bear with me. Join me as we learn together about the lesson in English 8. And imagine, we are now in quarter 4. Yes, quarter 4 na po tayo, week 1. Ayan, no? So I hope everyone is excited dahil ilang weeks na lang matatapos na ang school year 2020-2021. So once again, welcome to our ETUlay online tutorial. So, sa mga hindi pa nakakilala sa akin, I'm Tutor Ruby. Yes. And please join me as you learn English 8 every 2:20 in the afternoon until 3. Ayan ha, every Tuesday po yan. At pag nakita nyo na blue yung banner natin o yung layout natin. Ayan, for English po yun or for Tuesday activities. And by the way, live po tayo sa DepEd Edtech Unit, DepEd Philippines, and DepEd tayo Facebook accounts. And of course naman sa DepEd Edtech Unit at DepEd TV sa YouTube. So, I hope you will share this session to your classmates. So, yung mga parents natin na andyan, very supportive sa mga anak nila, yung mga teachers naman. Ayan, hawak kamay po tayo, magtutulungan para sa ating mga kabataan. So, I'm so glad na yung mga learners natin sa English 8 are already responsible with your own learning, di ba? So, if you have your modules with you, again, nasa quarter 4 na tayo, week 1. And our topic this afternoon is all about using appropriate grammatical signals suitable to each pattern of idea development, general to particular, and claim and counterclaim. So, again, in the previous lessons in our third quarter, we'll learn some grammatical signals, right? But this afternoon, we will be focusing on patterns. There are 3 patterns po, namely general to particular, and it is also known as general to specific pattern. And second, the claim. Third, counterclaim. So, by the way, I am so grateful sa Department of Education Schools Division of Negros Oriental. And I'm so proud kasi ka-region ko, from Region 7, ang owner ng module na gagamitin natin. Ayan. So, once again, thank you so much sa Schools Division of Negros Oriental, Region 7, specifically in Dumaguete City. Ayan, no? So, thank you so much sa mga writers, specifically si Everon Joy P. Catanos, yung mga editors natin. We have reviewers, yung illustrators, the layout artist. We salute you all, especially the management team ng NEG-OR division. Thank you so much for allowing us to utilize your modules. So, this afternoon, the objective is at the end of the session, you will be able to use appropriate grammatical signals suitable to each pattern of idea. Okay, so here, let's have first the pre-assessment activity, or what I know or what you know. Again, we had discussed in the previous lesson about some signals, right? Now, grammatical signals. So, for our pre-assessment, here's the direction here. From the pool of choices in the box, choose the appropriate grammatical signal to use in each sentence. Okay, so let's have this one. There are 3 sentences in this slide. And sa next slide, there are 2. So let's focus here first. Number 1. Car prices can vary a lot. Blank in Belgium, the VW Golf costs $1,000 less than in Britain. So that's the sentence. So you will fill in the blank. What is missing in the blank? Is it in addition to? You have the choices on the top. Is it while, although, specifically, or for example? Okay. Then in number 2, in second sentence, it was recognized as the flu. Blank records describe conditions which were highly likely to have been polio. Okay, again, you need to choose the correct answer from the words inside the box above. And the third sentence, blank, these remarkable inland mountains, Formosa's eastern shores show magnificent cliff scenery, the bases of the hills on the seaside taking the form of almost perpendicular walls as high as from 1,500 to 2,500 feet. Okay. All right. So let's see if you have answered the activities here. All right. So yes, let's have the answer in number 1. And the correct answer is yes, you are correct. For example, okay, car prices can vary a lot. For example, in Belgium, the VW Golf cost $1,000 less than in Britain. Okay. Second, what is the correct answer? All right, so you can type your responses or your answers in our comment box. Okay, so grade 8 learners, take time to give your answers. Okay, if you have your modules with you, you can write it down there. Or if you have notebook or answer sheets, yes, you can write your answer there. All right, number 2. It was recognized as the flu. Blank records describe conditions which were highly likely to have been polio. Okay, let's check your answer. Yes, you are correct. The answer is although. Okay, it was recognized as the flu. Although records describe conditions which were highly likely to have been polio. All right. Now for number 3, ayan, there are a lot of answers already. Okay, for number 3, blank, these remarkable inland mountains. Formosa's eastern shore show magnificent cliff scenery. Okay, what's the amazing word or words? Okay, let's check your answer. Yes. In addition to these remarkable inland mountains, Formosa's eastern shores show magnificent cliff scenery, the bases of the hills on the seaside taking the form of almost perpendicular walls as high as from 1,500 to 2,500 feet. All right, moving on to the next slide. Ayan, nasa pre-assessment activity pa lang tayo, grade 8 learners, or even if you're not grade 8, but you are interested to learn more about English subjects, you are welcome here, yes. So another, same choices, okay, same words inside the box, and you need to fill in the blank in number 4 and number 5. Okay, I'll give you a few seconds to think what is the best answer. All right. Okay, let's have number 4. The correct answer in number 4 is yes, you are correct. While. Okay, let's read the whole sentence. They stay awake at night while researchers work in the daytime. Again, they stay awake at night while researchers work in the daytime. Okay, so the grammatical uh, signal word here is while. Okay, it connects the thought or the idea in number 4. Okay, number 5. Okay, let's see if your answer is correct for number 5. Okay, let's see. Yes, the correct word or the missing word is specifically. Okay. Soon, however, the activity of this scoffin became specifically confined to the determination of legal disputes and enter place a new body of counselors. Ratmanin, also 14 in number, was appointed for the general administration of local matters. All right, so we're done with the pre-assessment activity. Okay, moving on. Now let's hear with what's in. Okay, what's in? Okay, let's have the directions. Rewrite the following sentences by inserting the appropriate grammatical signal in each sentence. Choose the correct answer from the choices and the parentheses. Okay? So if you are ready now, in our comment box, sige nga, if you're ready to answer what's in, okay, type there hashtag what's in. Okay, hashtag what's in. Okay, please write down in the comment box. All right. Okay, I'll give you time to uh, write the hashtag. Okay, so that Tutor Ruby can know if everyone is ready. All right. Okay, go, go, go. All right, next. Okay, in number 1, okay, in the activity of what's in, there are 3 patterns. Okay, there are 3 patterns that we studied. We will be studying. We will be studying. First, we have the general to particular pattern. Second, claim. Third, counterclaim. Okay, these are the 3. All right. Now, in general to particular, okay, this is the sentence. There are several steps to follow when baking a cake. Prepare all the necessary ingredients and materials. So, meaning to say, these sentences here are examples of the general to particular pattern. Okay, then we will insert uh, the appropriate grammatical signal. There are 3 here. For example, first, and moreover. So, which grammatical signal do you think is appropriate to be inserted Okay. We will insert it between the two sentences. So after baking a cake and before the word prepare. All right. Okay, what's the answer here? For example, first or moreover. Okay. All right. General to particular. Okay. All right. I can see the answer here. All right. The answer is yes, you are correct. First. Okay. We will insert the word first between the two sentences. So the correct sentence will be there are several steps to follow when baking a cake. Period. First, prepare all the necessary ingredients and materials. So, if the sentence is like that, especially there's a word first, so we are using the general to particular pattern. Okay. Second, we have here the second pattern, we have claim. Okay. So, let me read the sentence. Virginia Woolf is a more effective writer than James Joyce. She does not rely on elaborate language devices that ultimately confuse and alienate the reader. So, what appropriate word do we need to insert? Okay, is the word because, on the other hand, or lastly? Okay, we need to insert the appropriate grammatical signal between the two sentences. Okay, the first sentence ends with James Joyce. The second sentence starts with she. Okay, let's analyze. Please choose the correct answer. Okay, is it because, on the other hand, or lastly? Okay, go, go, go. Ayan. Just enjoy participating, okay? So, here, the correct answer for number 2 is yes. The answer is because, okay? Uh, we are having the claim pattern this time. So, if we will insert the appropriate grammatical signal because between the two sentences, it goes like this. Virginia Woolf is a more effective writer than James Joyce. She does not rely on elaborate language devices that ultimately confuse and alienate the. Sorry, Virginia Woolf is a more effective writer than James Joyce because, okay, we will insert the word because she does not rely on elaborate language devices that ultimately confuse and alienate the reader. Okay, that's claim. Now, moving on to counterclaim. Okay, some argue that eating meat is ethical because it is natural for animals to kill and eat one another. This argument presumes that all animals need meat to survive or rely exclusively on hunting for food. So we have three choices as a result, however, and although. Okay. Okay, I'll give you time to choose the appropriate grammatical signal. All right. And the correct answer for number 3, however. Okay, we need to insert the grammatical signal however between the two sentences. So it goes like this. Some argue that eating meat is ethical because it is natural for animals to kill and eat one another. However, comma, this argument presumes that all animals need meat to survive or rely exclusively on hunting for food. Okay? So that's what's in all about. It's about rewriting the following sentences by inserting the appropriate grammatical signal in each sentence. So in the given activity, there are two sentences, and we need to insert a certain appropriate grammatical signal. Okay. Next, let's move to what's new. Okay, what's new? How do you develop an idea? What grammatical signals do you use to show how ideas develop? So, writers need to develop a good idea, but writers should also consider some grammatical signals to connect one idea to another idea or to relate one idea to the other idea. So, here, take note, a while ago we talked about three patterns, right? Uh, the general to particular or general to specifics. That's the first pattern. Second pattern was claim. Third, counterclaim. Now, pattern of idea development refers to the strategy a writer uses to show how an idea flows from sentence to sentence, paragraph to paragraph. Then, there's a need for coherence. But the question is, what is coherence in writing? So, coherence in writing is the term used to refer to ideas in sentences and paragraphs that are connected and flow together smoothly. All right. So, if you want to be a best author, best selling author, or like you're writing a book and your book is one of the best selling, wow, how I wish to have that experience in the future. Okay, so coherence in writing is very important. This is to refer to ideas in sentences and paragraphs that are connected. So connectivity is very important, and there must be a smooth flow of ideas. And it is very important. Why coherence important? Because in idea development, it inhibits the reader's ability to understand the ideas and main points of a certain text. So coherence is a very vital element in writing. Okay? Whatever write up that you are in, that you are engaged with, consider coherence all the time. Okay? And to achieve this, appropriate grammatical signals are used to show relationship. Again, I would like to emphasize, to achieve coherence in writing or to have a proper pattern of idea development, we need to learn appropriate grammatical signals to show relationship between ideas in the sentence and paragraph. So, grammatical signals are very important. So, what is it? So, we are talking about grammatical signals. So, what it is all about. Now, grammatical signals are writing devices that serve to maintain text coherence. Okay? So, I know maybe some are not that familiar yet with these grammatical signals because in the previous lesson or in the previous grade, another term was used. Okay? But signals here are very important. Grammatical signals. It serves to maintain text coherence. So, as mentioned earlier, coherence allows a reader to understand a text more because the ideas flow together smoothly. Okay? If there's coherence, it's easy for the reader to comprehend the idea of the writer. Okay, now, example here. I love drinking coffee. It keeps me awake at night. Well, I can relate to this. Okay, my dear learners, viewers, I'm a coffee lover, so I always say coffee is life. It keeps me awake during daytime and of course at night as well if I need to do something. I need to accomplish something. So I love drinking coffee. It keeps me awake at night. So how many sentences are there? Yes, you're correct. There are two sentences. The first sentence is I love drinking coffee. The second sentence is it keeps me awake at night. So These sentences, or the two sentences, imply that the writer loves drinking coffee because it keeps her awake at night. Okay, do you get it? So the two sentences imply one thought. Okay, or you can also merge them into one sentence. So what's the implication of this? The writer loves drinking coffee because it keeps her awake at night. Okay. So since the pronoun there is I, so that means to say the writer refers to him or herself. Okay. To add more specifically, the signal word because can be used to add more specificity. If you want to specify, okay, if you want to be particular, okay, the signal word because can be used. And to change the relationship between the sentences, other transition words can be used. So if you want to change the idea, if you want to change the thought of the idea presented, you can also use other transition signals or other words. Okay, because it will change the meaning of the statements. Okay, transitions or signal words. Okay, or it is also known as grammatical signal. As I've said, there are a lot of terms being used, but we are referring to common words, signal words, connecting word, transition words. Okay, so these transition or signal words are words and phrases that show the connection between ideas. And when you use that connection, it will change the meaning of the two sentences. The implication will change. So here, a while ago, we used because as the signal. Okay, but here it changes. I love drinking coffee even though it keeps me awake at night. For sure, the idea or the meaning of the sentence changes. Okay? A while ago, we used because. Now we use even though. So here, the writer loves coffee in spite of it keeping her awake at night. Di ba usually at nighttime, we need to rest, we need to sleep. But we choose to drink coffee and it keeps us awake at night. All right. So there's a difference now. Okay. When you change the transition signal from because to even though, the idea is different. Okay. The relationship between the sentences ideas has changed. Yes, there is a great change. So, a transition, example of this transition based from our example, we have because and even though. These are example of transition signals. So, a transition has moved the way from one idea to the other. So, in Latin, trans means across. Across. So, transitions live up to their name. They carry the reader across from one thought to another. Even if we have just simple sentences, but when we insert or add transition signals, the thought changes, okay, from one meaning to another. Okay, now there are types of grammatical signals pattern. First, you have general to particular pattern, or another term for this, general to specific pattern, or general to particular pattern. Second, we have claim pattern. And the third, we have counterclaim pattern. So these three are types of grammatical signals pattern. I hope everyone will listen because this time there are a lot of terms, there are a lot of things that I need to clarify, that I need to explain. Okay, grade 8 learners. So I hope you will bear with me here. Okay, if you're still there, if you're still listening, please type, okay, hashtag signal pattern. Okay, hashtag signal pattern. So we're now in signal patterns, okay? And this can give us idea more as what type of grammatical signal pattern are we going to remember for this afternoon's lesson. Again, if you are ready for our next slide, please comment there, hashtag signal pattern. Okay, go, go, go. So let's tackle first the general to specific pattern or general to particular pattern. Okay, and they are the same. Okay, as the name suggests, this pattern is characterized by a movement in your thinking, like from generalization to specific details, or from broad topic to specific details. Right? Then your opening paragraph would begin with a general statement and then add details that explain it. So basically, in a write up, sometimes there's an introduction, there's a body, and a conclusion, right? Okay. But if the write up is just having one paragraph, so basically the general to specific pattern, you can see it in the opening part or in the first part of the paragraph. Okay. Then the details may become increasingly more specific. And the pattern ends with a broad statement that summarizes your thinking that resulted from the details. So these are the basic characteristics of general to specific pattern. We're here in number one pattern. Okay. Now, moving here. As we all know, again, as the name suggests, this pattern is characterized by movement in your thinking from generalization to specific details. Then take note, there's an opening part. Okay, you can see the general to, you can see the uh, generalization to specific details. So sa opening, it would begin with a general statement. But on the next sentences, you can see the specific details. Then on the end part of the paragraph, it's a broad statement. So here, example to specific pattern. Writing is a complex socio-cognitive process involving the construction of recorded messages on paper or on some other material and more recently on a computer screen. So as you can see here in the opening of the paragraph, we have one paragraph, right? In the opening paragraph, writing is a complex socio-cognitive process involving construction. So it's like a generalization. It's the general idea about writing, and it describes as a complex socio-cognitive process, right? Then on the next part, as you can see, there are words like first, second, and third. So it becomes specific now. Like again, in the opening part of the paragraph, we're talking a general statement about writing as a complex socio-cognitive process. But in the next part, you can see the specific details with the help of first, second, and third. So the first skill area involve acquiring a writing system which may be alphabetic as in European languages or non-alphabetic as in many Asian languages. Then another detail, the second skill area required selecting the appropriate grammar and vocabulary to form acceptable sentences and then arranging them in paragraph. And on the third specific detail, writing involves thinking about the purpose of the context to be composed and about its possible effect on the intended readership. Okay? From general statement then to the specific. So we are in the general to specific pattern. But on the end part of the paragraph, we consider it's like a summary. Like uh, because of this characteristic, writing is not innate natural ability like speaking, but has to be acquired through years of training or schooling. So the thought there, the summary of the paragraph is that writing is not innate, but it can be developed through experiences over time. Okay? Ayan. So that's an example of general to specific pattern. So in this example, the first sentence presents the general statement. Okay? It's easy for you to identify the general to particular pattern because in the first sentence, it presents a general statement. So in the example that I gave you, it's all about the writing process. Okay. Then, the succeeding statement consists of details and examples introduced by the transition. There, we can see the transitions first, second, and third. It means to say it goes to the details, specific details on how uh, writing or what the writing process is all about. And in the last part of the paragraph, finally, the pattern ends with a broad or general statement that summarizes what the writer wishes to conclude about the meaning of the detail. So, again, we are in the first pattern, general to particular. Then the following are more grammatical signals and expressions to indicate a general to specific pattern. So there are addition words. Okay. Teacher Ruby, what do you mean by addition words? Okay. Addition words tell you that the writer's thought is going to continue in the same direction. So it's going to add on more points or details of the same kind. And addition words are typically used to signal enumeration. So look over some addition words. So these are example of addition words. Like if you want to add another idea, when you are writing, when you are speaking, we need to specify some details. Okay, so we can use these addition words like also, another, first, first of all, finally, for one thing. Or you can use also furthermore, in addition, last of all, likewise, moreover, next, and second. The third reason, okay, you can use all these addition words, okay, to be more specific. And not just addition words, you can also use illustration words. And these illustration words tell you that an example or illustration will be given to make an idea clear. Okay? It makes your idea clear. Such words are typically used in textbooks that present a number of definitions, an example of those definitions. So look over the following examples here. So to illustrate, we can utilize the words for example or to illustrate or specifically once, for instance, or such as. All right? So if we know how to use the signal words, okay, it makes our ideas clearer on the part of our listener or reader. Okay, we're now on the second pattern, the claim pattern. Now, what do you mean by claim pattern? When we talk about claim, it persuades, argues, convinces, proves, or provocatively suggests something to a reader who may or may not initially agree with you. Maybe at the first time when you tell them your ideas, okay, they don't agree with you, okay, they don't listen to you. So why not use this claim uh, claim signals or grammatical signals? So it goes like this. Like in number 1, fudgy bar tastes better than other snack cakes because of their texture, their creamy feeling, and their golden appearance. Okay, so this is one example. Yeah, there are really people who don't like fudgy bar because it's so sweet, right? But if you will convince them, you will persuade them that I like fudgy bar to be our snack because of their texture, very fine texture, and the feeling is so creamy and their golden appearance. So in that way, you might convince or persuade your co-workers, your friends, or those people who initially do not agree with you. Okay, second, dance music has become popular for reasons that have nothing to do with the quality of the music. Rather, the clear, fast beats respond to the need of people on amphetamines to move and to move quickly. Okay, dear learners, this is one way of using claim pattern, using the transition for reasons. Okay, for reasons. First, we have because in number one. In number two, we use for reasons that have nothing to do with the quality of the music. But the fast beats respond to the need of people on amphetamines to move and to move quickly. All right? And in number three, the governor has continually done the community a disservice by mishandling money, focusing on frivolous causes, and failing to listen to his constituents. So there is a signal that we use there, the word by, by. Okay? So with that word, you might persuade, argue, convince, prove, or provocatively suggest, like, okay, yesterday you did not believe me, but now here you are with me. Sometimes our uh, transition words are very influential in how we use it, right? So we need to use them effectively. Okay. Now, a claim can be substantiated with research, evidence, testimony, and academic reasoning. This is an example like a claim, like a certain. For example, you invented a certain medicine, okay, and it underwent a lot of tests. Oh, it is passed a lot of legal documentation that it is really effective. So with that, you can have a claim because it is substantiated with research, not just with research, but with a lot of evidences, these documents that you have gathered from the test being conducted, and a testimony from the users, and of course, academic reasoning. And it is something more than statement and support. Okay? It is an arguable claim also goes to address the so what, the implications, and why we should care in the first place. Okay, this might also be used. Okay, but this pattern is really helpful. Okay, remember that not all claims are created equal. Yes, this is true. And though a claim may be arguable sometimes, the best claims are focused, specific, complex, and relevant. Take note. It must be focused, specific, complex, and relevant. Okay. So, third, we have counterclaim pattern. So, it's an argument or one of the arguments opposing your thesis statement. Yeah, that's why it's called counterclaim, meaning the opposite of the second claim pattern. Okay. In your thesis paragraph, for example, you make it clear to the reader exactly what you plan on proving and how you plan to go about proving it. Okay. And this paragraph is where you show the reader that you have considered the opposing side's viewpoint and find it to be weak or invalid. And a counterclaim and rebuttal paragraph. Okay. If done well, okay, take note, if done well, gives you a chance to respond to the reader's potential arguments before they are done reading. Okay, salute those writers who are very good in counterclaiming. Okay, there are really people who are very gifted when it comes to giving statements of counterclaim. Right, so we are still learning this one, and transition signals or grammatical signals can help us develop this skill. So look closely at this counterclaim paragraph. Okay, let me read. On the other hand, some people say that rock music contains lyrics that are both provocative and rebellious. This point of view makes sense because in the article it states that one form of rock music, punk rock, concentrates purely an antisocial subject as a basis for its songs. However, rock music itself is not enough to make a teenager rebel against society, because the article also says that the average teenager does not take it seriously and concentrates more on the musical value of the songs rather than the inner meaning of the lyrics. Therefore, this is the third signal. First, we have on the other hand. Second, however. Third, therefore. Even though lyrics in rock and roll music shows hint of anarchy and social rebellion, it is not a threat to society. So here, this is the first part of the paragraph, an example of counterclaim, and you can see the signal, grammatical signal on the other hand. Second, we have however, and the third, there's a transition therefore. Okay, again, it's an example of a counterclaim paragraph. So to know more about using counterclaim pattern, you can use these phrases. There are a lot of phrases that you can use. Phrases to introduce, for example, if you want to introduce the counterclaim, so you can use the statements on the other hand. Some people say, or admittedly, or some people say, or certainly. Some people say, all right? You can use these phrases to introduce the counterclaim. Okay, if only we have enough time or more long time, we can have a writing activity, but our time is not that long. Okay, now letter B, phrases to address the original claim. So what expressions will you use? Okay, you can put there in the chat box, no? So here, or in the comment box, I mean. So there are three examples here. We have however, nevertheless, on the other hand. Actually, there are more. These three are just examples, but there are a lot of phrases or words that you can use to address the original claim. So this original claim is very relevant because it protects your ideas, okay, your intellectual property, okay, and we have also phrases to conclude the paragraph, okay, or to close the statement, okay, or closing statement. You can start with thus, therefore, or as a result, okay, you can have that. Again, we are still in counterclaim pattern. So uh, more to that, we have emphasis words. Okay, among the most valuable signals for you to know are emphasis words, through which the writer tells you directly that a particular idea or detail is specifically important. So these words can be used to indicate both claim and counter claim. So think of such words as red flags that the author is using to make sure you pay attention. So these are examples of emphasis words. There are a lot actually. Okay, so example, important to note, or most of all, a significant factor, or a primary concern, a key feature, or the main value, a specifically valuable, most noteworthy. Or you can also use remember that, or a major event, the chief outcome, the principal item, okay? Pay particular attention to, the chief factor, or a vital force. Another group of emphasis words are above all, a central issue, a distinctive quality, especially relevant, should be noted, the most substantial issue. Okay? These are very relevant words called emphasis words for us to uh, directly that a particular idea or detail is specifically important. So yes, we're now here. What's more? Okay, number one, read the selection that follow and identify the grammatical signal. Okay, so here number one, One purpose for incorporating sexual themes or pictorial material in advertisement is to attract consumer attention to the ad. However, evidence suggests that the use of such material may not always have an easily predictable or desired effect. For example, one study found non-sexual and sexual romantic theme to have a greater influence on consumer attention than did nudity. So there's one signal word here and it's being boxed already with the red there. So it's the signal word. For example, one study found non-sexual and sexual romantic theme to have a greater influence. Okay, for number two here, we have here also another uh, word being boxed with red. For instance, okay, an interesting point about a role playing is the way middle years and adolescent youngsters play the role of being their age. So, one 8-year-old boy, for instance, avidly collected baseball cards and kept track of games and team standing in sport pages, okay, in accordance with the more of his neighborhood. So again, the grammatical signal there is for instance. Okay. Now here, let's have what I can do. So in this part, read a selection that follow and identify the grammatical signal used. So there's a keyword below. There are three signal words that you need to determine or you need to identify. And if you can see that words, please write it in our comment box. Okay, go, go, go. Okay, you need to find the three signal words. Okay, I'll give you time. Okay, again, you need to read the selection that follow and identify the grammatical signals used. And take note, there are only three in this number. Okay, so despite favorable surface condition, there were throughout the 1920s defects in the American economy. First, some major industries did not experience the general prosperity which characterized most of the economy. Bigger farm income meant that farmers lacked purchasing power to buy their share of the increasing output of goods and services. So coal, textiles, and shoes were among other industries which suffered from low profit margins. Moreover, while employment rose during the 1920s, the biggest gains were in the low-paid service trades rather than in those industries where earnings were high. So what are the three signal words? Yes, you have first, moreover, and furthermore. Yes, you are correct. So you can now identify the grammatical signals. Okay, let's move to number. Okay, these are the three. First, moreover, and furthermore. Okay, number two. Here are ways to take some of the danger out of smoking. First of all, choose a cigarette with less tar and nicotine. The difference between brands can be as much as 2 to 1. So there are 5 signal words here. As you can see, the paragraph is quite long. And you need to have 5 signal words. Identify the 5 signal words. Okay? Don't worry, I'll help you find what are those words. Yeah, first you have first. Okay, the word first. Another. Also, yeah, number 2. Third word, another. Fourth signal word. Oh, yes, we have in addition and finally. So that are the 5 signal words. First, also, another, in addition, and finally. We're now in assessment part. Identify the pattern of idea development in the following paragraph. So there are 3. You will tell if it's general to particular, is it a claim or counterclaim. Okay, for number 1. Some people may argue that a college education is a waste of time, of money. Diba? During the ancient time, it's like college education is just a waste of money, especially among women. But now women are empowered. Okay. So, according to Vedder, a goodly proportion of those attending four-year colleges full-time fail to graduate even within 6 years. By focusing on the percentage of people that fail to graduate, he overlooks the fact that 60% of college students are actually succeeding and graduating from college, which is more than those who are not. So, people are not better off skipping college. It is important to remember that a college degree opens many doors and provides graduates with many advantages in life. Okay, what do you think is the answer? Yes, it's counter claim. It's a counter claim. Number two, here, breaking up with a boyfriend or girlfriend can be easier said than done. Breaking up with boyfriend or girlfriend can be easier said than done. It's easy to say, okay, I will let you go. It's easy to say that, right? But it's so hard to do. It's so hard to let go someone whom you love. But here are 5 steps that may help the breaking up process. First, try to distance yourself by suddenly becoming busier than usual. Whenever she or he calls, tell him her that you're busy and you cannot talk. The next step is to calmly tell the other person how you are feeling. Then, gently let him or her know that you do not want to be together anymore. Or make sure to be sensitive of his or her feelings and answer any question that he she may have. For example, if the person starts to cry, use kind words to help comfort him or her. After everything is said and done, take some alone time for yourself because everyone has feelings to sort out after a breakup. What a sad story. Finally, go out with friends and meet new people. With these 5 steps, it will make the breaking up process smooth for both parties. So, is it general to particular, claim, or counterclaim? Yes, you are correct. It's general to specific. Remember, there's a word first, there's a word next step. Okay. Then another word here we have also for example. Okay, so it's general to particular. All right. Now, number 3. Alcohol use and problem drinking in late adolescence vary by socio-demographic characteristic. So, for example, the prevalence of alcohol use are higher for boys than for girls, higher for white and Hispanic adolescents, and higher for those living in the North and North Central United States and of those living in the South and West. So some of this relationship change with early adulthood. However, for example, although alcohol use in high school tend to be higher in areas with lower population, so than in more densely populated areas. So this relationship reverses during early adulthood. Lower economic status is associated with more alcohol use during the early high school years. By the end of high school and during the transition to adulthood, this relationship changes and youth from higher socioeconomic backgrounds consume greater amounts of alcohol. Is it general to particular, claim, or counterclaim? Okay. Yes, it's general to particular because there's a word for example. Okay. Then number 4. Wow, we're almost done. Forcing middle schoolers to try out for competitive sports is hotly contested because people hold varying opinions on the issue. Some people argue that tryouts are a time honored way to select the best athletes for a middle school team. Others argue, however, that tryouts for competitive sports exclude kids from participating on a team because students' undue stress can lead to unhealthy practices. I strongly believe that tryouts for middle schoolers should be discontinued, not only to try out create unhealthy and negative competition between peers, but it also lowers students' self-esteem and confidence. So the words that I strongly believe is it general to particular, claim, or counterclaim? Yes, it's a claim. I strongly believe, I strongly agree, something like that. And last, some might argue that a dress code would eliminate freedom of expression for students, but that isn't true. Dress code policies already restrict expression, such as the length of clothing or hair color. If freedom of expression is the argument, then shouldn't these policies not be allowed either? In addition, students only spend a small portion of their time in a school building. There is plenty of other time in a 10, 12 students or 1,012 students' life where they can express themselves through their clothing. Finally, many work environments have a certain expectation for appropriate dress. Having students wear uniforms doesn't eliminate expression. It prepares students for career expectations. So this argument against uniform is flawed and not a true reason for negating the possible benefits school uniforms would bring. So, is it general to particular claim or counterclaim? Yes, it's a counter claim. So, learners, dear viewers, we had studied about the general to particular pattern, claim or counter claim. Okay, in using grammatical signal patterns. All right. So I hope we have learned something. So for your reflection, you can send there in our comment box. Complete the statement. I have learned that. Okay. Complete this one. I have learned that. Okay. So I hope you have learned something. The topic is a little bit long, okay, but thank you so much for being with me this afternoon. So once again, I'm Tutor Ruby. Yes, so see you next meeting, see you next week at 2:20 to 3 p.m. All right, so have a great day, everyone. I hope you enjoy our session this afternoon. Okay, goodbye, everyone.
Sigurado ako na marami ka na namang natutuhan sa ating ETUlay tutorial session ngayong araw. Tandaan, ito ay hindi lamang para sa ating mga mag-aaral, kundi pati rin sa ating mga minamahal na guro at mga magulang na kaagapay natin para maituloy ang pagkatuto sa kabila ng nararanasang pandemya. Patuloy ding sumubaybay sa DepEd TV para sa mga araling ginawang video episodes. Mapapanood ito mula Lunes hanggang Sabado, alas 7 ng umaga hanggang alas 7 ng gabi sa inyong mga telebisyon. Abangan bukas mula 1:00 ng tanghali ang iba pang aralin sa ating ETUlay free online tutorial session sa Filipino. I-like and subscribe at manatiling nakasubaybay sa ating ETUlay tutorial session sa DepEd Edtech Unit FB page at Educational Technology Unit channel sa YouTube at sa DepEd Tayo at DepEd Philippines social media accounts. Paalam!